Hello, and welcome back to another true crime vlog. In today's true crime vlog, we're going to be talking about the Zodiac Killer. Between the late 1960s and early 1970s, in Northern California, an unidentified killer terrorized the people. 5 known victims, and throughout a series of letters, claim of 37, as well as the letters, cards, and pieces of evidence, as well as a cryptogram. But we'll get into that. December 20th, 1968. David Arthur Faraday and Betty Lou Jansen went out to Lake Herman Road. The couple were out on their first date. Earlier they had spent some time at a friend's house, and then later to dinner, and then decided to kind of pull over for some making out. Their bodies were found around 11 p.m. that night. They were found by Estella Borges, who was a nearby resident. The Salerno County Sheriff's Department investigated, but really didn't have much evidence or clues to go off of, so they just kind of determined what happened and how it went down, and that's about it. Right around midnight on the 4th of July in 1969, in Vallejo, California, 4 miles from Lake Herman Road, Darlene Farron and Michael McGew are driving into Blue Rock Springs Park to park for a bit. While they sat there, a second car pulled in, and it first pulled up right next to them, but almost immediately backed out right after. About 10 minutes or so go by, and then that car pulled in again, only this time directly behind them. The driver of that second car got out of their car, walked out to the passenger side of the other car, shined a flashlight directly into him, and opened fire. Firing several rounds into the couple, some of them exiting Michael and going right into Darlene. The killer started to walk away, but then he started hearing Michael moaning in pain, and he walked back and fired 2 more rounds into both of them each. About 12:40 a.m., the 5th of July now, a 911 call was made to report the double murder, as well as the one on Lake Herman Road, and to claim ownership and say the person calling was the one doing it. Farron was pronounced dead at the hospital, while McGew managed to survive, even after being shot in the head, neck, and chest. Described the attacker as a 26 to 30-year-old, about 195 to 200 pounds, 5'8", white male, light brown hair. On the 1st of August 1969, 3 almost identical letters were sent to the Vallejo Times, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the San Francisco Examiner. Each letter contained a 408-symbol cryptogram, or a cipher. The letter instructed that each paper publish it on page 1. In the letter, he also said if the papers don't, he will go out cruising all weekend, just killing anybody he sees at a whim. He'll probably be at a dozen by the time the weekend. Eventually all were published, and those murders never did happen. The San Francisco Chronicle was the only paper to run it on the front page, alongside with a letter along with the Vallejo Chief of Police, requesting more details on the case to ensure that this person sending the letter is in fact the killer. Well, on August 7th, they got their wish. The San Francisco Examiner received another letter entitled To the Editor. When they opened it, it opened with the most infamous words in true crime history. This is the Zodiac speaking. In this letter, it contained details of each crime that only the killer would have known, even information that never was released to the public. In this other letter, he also said, "You have to crack my code to figure out who I am." A lot of people tried. A lot of folks, they called in experts, police, the FBI were all working together trying to crack this code. But on the 8th of August, a Donald and Betty Hardin cracked the 408-symbol cipher. It contained a lot of misspelled words and messages referencing to the most dangerous game. A story about hunting human beings. This letter also made mention that he wasn't in any rush to give out his actual name, because he felt that all the people he were killing would be his slaves in the afterlife, and he wanted to get himself a nice collection before he dies. September 27th, 1969. College students Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were having a picnic at Larry Berryessa. White man about 5'11", wearing an executioner's hood, about 170 pounds. Cecilia had noticed he had a black hood on as well as sunglasses and a bib with some sort of crosshair symbol on it. As they approached, they also realized that he had a 9mm Luger. As he approached them, he drew his weapon and instructed Cecilia to restrain Brian. As she did, incredibly nervous, he then went to restrain her, went to check on Brian, saw that in her panic he didn't, so he tightened his, forced Brian down to the ground, and started to walk away. He demanded earlier to have Brian's wallet and keys, said he escaped from a jail in Montana and had killed a guard and is not afraid to kill again. As he was walking away, Brian wanted to know. He asked him, was the gun loaded? The man walked back, took the clip out to show it was loaded in fact. As he was walking away, thinking that, he had what he wanted, nothing was going to happen, he was stabbed immediately, as well as Cecilia. Around 7:40 p.m., there was another phone call made to the police, wanting to report a murder. No, a double murder. The police got there. There was also park rangers trying to investigate it because a man and his son were fishing and they heard the cries of help and they tried to get help as well. They also found a note from the Zodiac left on Brian's car door. Cecilia lapsed into a coma during transport and later died. Brian Hartnell ended up living to tell his tale. October 11th, 1969. Paul Stein was a cab driver. He was just going out to start his shift. A man got into the back of his car, gave him directions on where to go, and about a block into the trip, Paul Stein was shot in the back of the head. Now, 3 boys across the street did witness this and did notify the police. They also saw him take Paul's car keys, wallet, as well as a ripped piece of his bloodied shirt. Earlier, some police did pass and question a man who was in the area of where the original report of Paul's death was. It was originally just reported as a carjacking or a robbery gone wrong. And some miscommunication by the police first reported as a black man being the attacker, but obviously later turned out not to be true. There was never really any explanation on how this mix-up happened. On the 13th of October, the Chronicle got another letter from the Zodiac. This time with a piece of Paul's clothing, the bloody t-shirt. It also stated responsibility for it, with some damning evidence, as well as stating police even did talk to him moments before he gunned down Paul. That's about all the time we have for this. We're going to get a little bit more into this and the supposed suspects, and a lot of the other crazy stuff that happened, along with an alleged phone call into a talk show. But until next time, thank you for watching, and keep coming back for more vlogs, or podcasts, or both. Be sure to like, subscribe, and if you want to see something else, comment, or if you like what we're doing and you want to see more of it, comment in the sections. Love to hear from you, and I'd love to get back to you.
Oh, he's got him!
There we go, safe
You
and
all
sound.
right? What do you say to the nice man? Say thank you. I don't like him.